Okay. Where we at right now?
We at the BackRoom Podcast. You already know what it is, man.
BackRoom Podcast, and we do have a special guest today.
Yes, sir.
Drum roll, please. We have the mayor, Mr. Ken Thurston, here joining us today.
Very special person today, you know. Wow, this was like a long time in the making. I'm just really happy that we actually got him, and we're gonna get to learn the mayor a little bit. How you doing, Mr. Ken Thurston?
I am fantastic. Thank you so much for inviting me.
Mm-hmm.
And hopefully the listening and viewing audience will get to know who I am
Mm-hmm.
and know a little bit about where I came from.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Well, that's exactly how we wanted to get it started. So, like, for anybody that doesn't know who you are, you want to tell them like just who you are, where you're from, and how you became the mayor?
Sure, be happy to do so. I am currently the mayor of the city of Lauderhill.
Mm-hmm.
I've been mayor for 5 years.
Mm-hmm.
Before that, I was a city commissioner in Lauderhill for 8 years.
Okay.
Term limits say that come next year, November of 2024, I gotta go. So my term ends. Prior to that, I have worked as a real estate broker, which I continue to do. I probably put in 25 hours a week at the city and 25 hours a week at my real estate office, where I basically do property management. I started in the real estate business way back in 1972 when I got out of college, and did real well as a broker handling the sale of homes and as a property manager. And one concept that I've always followed is that you got to give back to the community from which you earn your living. So I have served on many boards of directors of non-governmental organizations. I have been a part of many nonprofits, and in the city of Lauderhill, which is recent history, before I was elected as a city commissioner, I was president of the Lauderhill Chamber of Commerce.
Nice.
Okay.
I was chair of the Lauderhill Housing Authority. I served on the city of Lauderhill's Planning and Zoning Board. There was a point at which I realized that the guys who make the decisions are if you serve on an advisory board, you get to study the issue, you get to make a recommendation to the elected officials, but it's really the elected officials who make the final decisions. Now, it is very rare that the elected officials will do something counter to what the board has recommended. I would say 95% of the time, what our advisory boards recommend is what we're going to vote for. But I want it to be where the ultimate decision was made.
Right.
The opportunity presented itself when there was a vacancy on the Lauderhill City Commission. I ran and was successful in winning.
Okay.
Now, when I talk about the various boards that I've been on in my lifetime, I initially in 1972, 1973, I was active with the NAACP. In fact, I was vice president. And when I was vice president, a fellow named Richard Kurtz was the president. Mizell Kurtz Funeral Home. Okay. That Richard Kurtz. I worked very closely with the Sickle Cell Disease Association. And it was one that kind of touched my heart because we, and I'm saying people of color, have a unique disease and there has not been a cure because the pharmaceutical companies have said there's no money in it. If we came up with a cure for sickle cell, who's going to buy the medicine or the vaccine that we develop? So pharmaceuticals have been very slow to develop a cure. And what happens is that if two people couple who've got the sickle cell trait, then there is an over 50% chance that they'll produce a child who has sickle cell disease.
Wow.
And because the red blood cell is sickle as opposed to being roundish, it clogs up the artery. The blood does not flow as well as it should, and then there is immense pain. And the emergency rooms are forever saying this person is here because they want drugs. Well, they're in a crisis, in a sickle cell crisis, and it's pain because of the blood coagulating and not flowing through the arteries the way that they should. So I was a part of the Cis-Trunk Historical Society, which helped to develop the the Cis-Trunk Festival. That first group we called the Northwest Businessmen's Association, and we decided to do the festival. We had pushed to get the street renamed Cis-Trunk after Dr. Cis-Trunk, who was one of the first black physicians in Fort Lauderdale.
You see, that I didn't even know, because we've heard of Cis-Trunk, but we never knew that it was like a doctor that started his name. That's cool.
Yeah, he was the first black doctor in the Fort Lauderdale area.
Wow. Okay.
And that is, so we pushed and we were able to convince the city of Fort Lauderdale to rename the street after him.
Nice. Okay.
That's cool.
So you've definitely been, very active along the Fort Lauderdale area, right? As we see, but like in your, I guess, daily life, like as a mayor, like what does that like usually entail for you? Like what are like your daily like tasks or goals that you try to do? I know, big things obviously like that, but like just, I guess, on a regular, I guess, day-to-day basis.
Well, one of my greatest attributes is that I'm a listener.
Okay.
I listen to what people have to say, and then I try to synthesize what it is that they're really saying, what is it that they really need. This morning, had a lady who I do a series called Meet the Mayor. So you don't need to have an appointment with the mayor to meet with me. You can pick up your cell phone and call me. I give people my cell number, but there are many who are intimidated by the trappings of the office. So I set up twice a month, meet with the mayor, one in the morning, session in the morning, and then late in the month in the afternoon. So the lady came in, and the bottom line is she just needs help. She, like so many senior citizens, have got more expensive than they've got income. And so I was able to make some suggestions, and I think that the city, through our SHIP program, will be able to help her. She owns her home, but there are areas of deferred maintenance of the house, and that is causing code enforcement to give her some hassles. So, but working through the SHIP department, I think we're going to be able to help her. Well, that was my appointment at 8:30 this morning.
Okay.
At City Hall. Now, my aide tried to get the lady to disclose what it is that she needed. She didn't want to share that information. She says, I want to talk to the mayor. I want to speak with him personally. Well, okay, so that's part of what happens and what I do. The elected officials in most cities are policymakers. Okay. The grass needs to be cut along Oakland Park Boulevard. We don't cut that grass. We will hire somebody to cut the grass. And in fact, the 5 elected officials in the city hire one person, and that's the city manager. The city manager hires everybody else. We're encouraged not to give orders to city employees because it becomes confusing. Who is the boss? Maybe so we communicate with employees through the city manager. So we hear if in fact the community says there's a problem with too much paper, too much litter in the city, we would have a meeting, the elected official, discuss it, make some suggestions. We would set up policy. We would say to the city manager, we need you to cure the problem of all of the litter that's on 56th Avenue. Well, it's up to the city manager to figure out how to do that. Is that a maintenance person going by every morning, or maybe the person who's picking up the paper can do that twice a week? That is up to the city manager and her staff to figure it out, but we determine, the elected officials, what need to be done. Yeah, that was...
Sorry, I mean, that actually brings a very interesting point, because this is a question that we kind of had on the board. Now that you brought up the littering aspect, it's just like you said, like 56 going up in the area, we do notice that there is like more trash than usual. So I was thinking, like, an idea I had was like introducing more like garbage cans, or like maybe like an initiative of like, let's help our clean up our city and stuff like that. So what do you believe is could happen, or how can we help clean up our city?
I think that the best initiatives are those that are started by residents themselves. And if in fact we put more receptacles in an area, that means that we have to have somebody who's going to come and empty them on a periodic basis.
More to get.
Then the other question is, and I've seen it I'm in the property management business, where we will put a trash can next to a group mailbox. For years, the postal carrier would put the mail in everybody's box, and one day they says, nah, we're not doing that anymore. The Postal Service is trying to save money. You've got 50 units here. We want one gang mailbox, a group mailbox. All of the mail is put in this section that we're gonna make you pay $20,000 to install. So the offshoot of that was that a resident says, well, why can't you put a trash can right here? Because most of the mail that we get is trash. You know, it's people soliciting for business. So we will open the mail and just throw it into the trash. Well, many people would come by and say, well, why do I need to go to the dumpster to take my kitchen garbage out? There's a container right here by the mailboxes. And so all of a sudden, many residents were putting their household garbage into this one container that we had there by the group mailbox. There was a smell. So we decided to remove that receptacle. So, because it didn't work. Now, I think it's an excellent idea to put additional trash receptacles or litter receptacles along the major thoroughfare, but we do have to be concerned about collecting the litter that got in there. And unfortunately, I've seen a situation where the receptacle was used as a weapon. A couple of guys get in a fight. They pick up this garbage can that's a little heavier and do battle with it.
Crazy.
So it's unfortunate, but I'm saying that when you deal with policy and unintended consequences is what we're always looking at. Yeah, it was a good idea to have a way to get the litter off the street, but what are the unintended consequences of making such a decision? And let me go back to the original point that I made, which was your idea could be a good one, and maybe what we would have to do is just try it and see what happens. And then if we run into issues, we would make corrections.
Right.
Definitely.
Okay. So definitely there's like a lot of trial and error. Pretty much.
Yes, it is.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
So pretty much, I guess, going based off his question, is there anything that you are like really trying to change right now, or something that's been really significant that you have changed in your time as being a mayor?
Yes. 3 years ago, we had a real serious problem with flooding throughout the city. There was a heavy rain, and water rose, and that's the definition of flooding. That after heavy rain, the water rises. Does not percolate into the soil. It takes a while. Does not go into canals or lakes. We were able to authorize a flood mitigation study. And that study showed that the places where the water should flow to, that many of the routes were blocked. We found out, for instance, that the pipes in one area were not sufficient. They were too small. So we had to dig up a section and put in larger pipes. In another situation, all of this came about because of the flood mitigation survey, which we authored, and we had to pay an engineer. And the guy actually got into a wetsuit and jumped down into the manholes to look to see what was going on. In one case, on the east part of the city, they found where somebody apparently had excess concrete, and they just emptied the rest of the concrete into the manhole. And it had hardened, and the water was not able to flow past to flow out to ocean. So got a jackhammer and a crew and broke up that concrete. We had to put in some extra culverts in the city to allow the water to go out to the lake. And also, I don't know why governmental people say this. They want to pump the water out to tide. Well, now that's a fancy way of saying pump the water out to the ocean. But they'll say we're moving the water out to tide. We discovered that the South Florida Water Management District determines when we can turn the pumps on to get the water out of the canal and push it out toward the ocean. they based that upon a study that's submitted. And so we were able to update our report, and now they allow us to turn the pumps on sooner.
Okay.
And so now with discovering the blockages in the drainage lines, turning the pumps on faster, increasing the size of some piping that we had, we don't have a major flooding problem in the city of Lauderhill anymore.
Nice.
Wow. Yeah.
And because we've got the flood mitigation study completed, we're also able to apply for state grant dollars from the state of Florida and from the federal government. Because we have greatly improved the problem, but it's not an optimum, and that's what we're working for.
Optimum. Okay.
Yeah. We want the water to get out of the community just as fast as possible, so that was a problem that we were able to solve. We had there was a study done that showed that in Lauderhill we have a higher than normal amount of strokes, heart attacks. We've discovered that there's a higher number of smokers in comparison with the general population. One way of improving health is with exercise.
That's a true fact.
3 years ago, I started the program Move with the Mayor.
Okay.
All right.
Let's move with the mayor.
Let's hear that.
I was able to get some dollars from a private organization whose goal it is to improve physical health. So around the city, I started programs where I would hire a trainer, invite residents to come out and exercise with me. So we have got 4 or 5 different regular exercise programs that are happening. Very well attended. At St. George Park, the trainer comes at 8 o'clock, a professional trainer. And we've got a group of 30, 40 people who show up to each session. As a part of Move with the Mayor, we've got stationary bicycle. They call it, what's the cycling term for it? Spinning. Yeah. So we've got, so we bought bicycles, the city of Lauderhill, for spinning, and we've got classes taught a couple of times a week, and it's all free to Lauderhill residents.
Awesome. That's cool. So I didn't even know that.
Yeah. So the intent was, here's a fun way of getting exercise. Gym memberships are not very expensive, maybe $30 a month, maybe $50 a month. Well, there are people who says, man, I don't have an extra $20 in my budget. Well, you can come to your park for free and participate in the aerobics classes. And as a part of the Move with the Mayor series, perhaps the biggest one that I hooked up with a trainer, Jamal, at Tailored Fitness. And once a month, he'll do soca step aerobics at the park, at the big park.
The one in Lauderhill right there?
Yes.
Where they do the Lions Park right there across
the soccer field?
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Lauderhill Sports Park, I think.
Yeah. Thank you.
Sports Park.
I should know that. At our sports park, we average over 300 people that show up for Soca Step, and it's like a competition. Here are the people who are from Haiti. Here are people who from Jamaica. people from the Bahamas, and my father was from Cat Island in the Bahamas.
Okay.
They've got their flags out, and so the competition is who can get the most people out there doing this soca step. It's a challenge, but people are getting exercise, and it's absolutely free.
Wow. That's cool. Okay.
Wow.
So that trying to improve the health of the residents is something that I'm committed to. The thing that I'm probably most proud of for my tenure as mayor is that in 2016, the residents of the city of Lauderhill passed a $44 million bond issue. Guys in government do things different or say things different than the way that average people say. It means that it allowed us to borrow money and pay it back out of the tax revenue to upgrade and build new buildings throughout the city. All right, so we West Wind Park, we renovated St. George. All of our parks have been upgraded. We put in a new track for track and field at West Kinlark Park. And so the spending, and it's hard to spend bond dollars because you're involving architects and contractors. If you'll see the problem that the school board has had trying to renovate buildings, it's a tough task to monitor bonds as a part of a capital improvement program. So I'm very happy with the way that the city of Lauderhill, every park has been improved. We've got a new community building being built behind City Hall. You notice the new construction?
Yes. Yes.
All right, we're going to have a new community center there.
Okay.
Wow,
And we'll have basketball courts, but senior citizens like myself are happy that it's easy to configure that same space for pickleball.
Okay.
So many of the residents who are inside the Invery area have indicated a desire to have a place to play pickleball.
Okay.
So, but it's under construction now. The cost is $4.2 million. It is scheduled to be completed in August of 2024.
Sounds good.
Yeah. Wow. So with that, with those bond dollars, we bought body cameras for our police officers, which I think is extremely important.
Yeah.
And but unintended consequences with the police body cameras, you got to have a place to store the film. And how long do you have to store the film for? If it involves a crime, ultimately forever.
Oh wow.
So 20 years later, you still need that film.
Wow.
So storage. Even though we bought the body cameras, which everybody was clamoring for, now we have a new issue of how do we maintain and store the film so that it can be easily assessed in case there is litigation of some kind. So the 2016 bond issue, I would say, is perhaps the item that I'm most proud of. Yeah.
Wow, that's really amazing because as residents, we do go to the parks a lot, so we have seen the renovations and we are very happy with the parks and everything. You kind of answered most of my questions with everything you said. And I just did want to get a little bit personal and just ask you. I noticed that when I was doing some research on you that you are married, so I just wanted to know like how important is it like having a partner and how important is being married into projecting your success and stuff. if there's something you could tell our audience about, like, just that aspect of
happy to do it. My wife will say to me many times, "Do I need to come to that with you?" Mm-hmm. And in most cases, I will say yes. Mm-hmm. And my reply is generally, I look better when I'm with you. Mm-hmm. So you make me look better. We have been married for, next month is December. Mm-hmm. So in December, we will have been married for 43 years. Wow. So it's been a good relationship. I've got 4 kids, and the support of my wife and children mm-hmm. is extremely important to me. Mm-hmm. They keep me in line, mm-hmm. and they keep me grounded. You don't know, each of us has our limits, what we'll do or what you won't do, but kids keep you humble. Mm, yeah. Okay. So you don't know what they may do or may get involved in, and as an elected official, everything is public. Mm. If in fact you and your partner got into an argument in a public place, it's just 2 people having a disagreement. Uh-huh. Not so if the mayor and his wife.
Yeah, it's news.
That's right. That absolutely makes the news. It has been one of the keys to my success mm-hmm. is the support of my family, mm-hmm. and it has helped to keep me grounded and moving in the right directions. I'm not out at the clubs or at the bars looking for anything. If I went, it was just to have a cocktail, and most likely my wife was there with me anyhow. So in terms of family life, I would say it's extremely important, but it is a burden on family. Okay. That I could see that. We had a few years ago. It was George Floyd, mm-hmm. and the America watched this man dying on televisions right in front of us. Mm-hmm. That the police officer had his knee on his neck for an extraordinary period of time. And there was, and because of COVID, we were all there watching. Mm-hmm. And people felt that we've got to react to this. In the early days, there was a desire to have a march, and we applauded the city of Lauderhill and say we are happy to host you. Mm-hmm. Well, then we saw, we did what we normally do in such a case. We would reach out to surrounding police departments for assistance and say, we're going to be having a peaceful march starting at the LPAC. Can you help us out? Can you have officers, and in particular, we would usually go to BSO. Mm-hmm. BSO says we can send you nothing. Mm-hmm. And they do. Sheriff Tony has done a tremendous job. Mm-hmm. But for that day, they could not provide backup to us. Mm-hmm. Backup in terms of officers. So we says we are not going to allow the march on this day. Let's schedule it for the following week. Mm-hmm. Well, the organizers said, this is our march. You don't tell us mm-hmm. When we're going to do it. And they took it over to the city of Fort Lauderdale, and they did have some issues because people were really concerned with what had been seen. But my two of my daughters got phone calls from friends who says, well, what's wrong with your daddy? Why is he not willing to allow us to protest the death of George Floyd?
Okay.
So I just told that story, and since then we had multiple expressions, peace marches in support of George Floyd and the need to prosecute those officers. But at that moment in time, it was not, the city was not ready because it just didn't have the backup or the support. So, but family got drawn in and said, your dad is some kind of Uncle Tom, not willing to allow us to. So, family is important, and it is a big sacrifice to serve in public office.
Okay.
I mean, that's big. We don't want to keep you too long, but I did want to kind of end off on a comment. I'll let you speak after. But I just by knowing you for the few time that you've been here, I do notice that not because you have to be active in your community, it seems like you actually want to be active in your community, and I actually really commend that. So I just wanted to tell you that I appreciate that.
Thank you. I am just so I try to keep religion and away from politics. But I guess my response is that I have been blessed, and because I have been so blessed, good family, good business. My business is good because of the people who support me. So I need to be active supporting the community and encouraging those who make the decision to go into business to support them, to be certain they're successful. Most jobs in a community come from small businesses. So if we can generate more small businesses, they're going to hire more of the residents of the city. So it's part of my obligation, my charge. I went to a church service the very first year that I was elected, which would have been 2010 was the first year. And the minister gave such a powerful message. And he says, you think that because you are so smart and articulate that you got elected. That's not the case. God put you here, and he put you in this place because there is a purpose.
Amen.
And you need to fulfill your purpose.
Yeah.
And your purpose is to do the job so well that nobody ever can say they did it better than you did.
That's beautiful.
Yeah, and so I was so struck and moved by that, and so that is the way that I've operated for the last 13 years, and I've got 1 year left, and I'll continue to do that. God put me in this position for a purpose, and the purpose is to help people. Many of the calls I get don't always involve things that are happening in the city of Lauderhill. Sometimes a person has a social security question, but I can refer them to the right department at Congresswoman Sheila Surplus McCormick's office to help them. Or if it's a county issue, I can refer them over to County Commissioner Robert McKenzie or Hazel Rogers so they can get it resolved. But they see me as government, and therefore I'm able to route them into the right places. Because being so Caribbean in our community, my father coming from the Bahamas, and we've got very heavy populations from many islands, there's always immigration questions. So I've got the person who does immigration for Congresswoman Sheila McCormick's office on speed dial, and I'm able to refer the people to him, and he can say, well, you need an attorney to do this for you, or you've got to go at it this way. So I'm just happy that I'm able to help people.
Awesome. That's beautiful. And I just want to say, to end it off, thank you so much for being here, Mr. Mayor. So you are saying that this is your last year, so I guess to end it off, I wanted to ask you, what's next for you, and if you have any message you want to leave our listeners or anything like that.
You know, November of 2024, there'll be an election for a new mayor. I would hope that people will pay attention to the candidates and select the one that they think will best lead the city. At this moment in time, I'm going to buy myself a rocking chair. I'm going to sit on the back porch drinking lemonade, and if the Lord leads me to do something else, I will. But I'm going to wait, and I'll be listening. But it's okay if I don't hear anything.
You've done your part. Well, thank you, Mr. Mayor. It's been another episode of the Backroom. Thank you guys for listening. And if you don't know, listen to the mayor. Go find out. Go find out. But yeah, thank you guys.
It's been the Backroom.
It's been the Backroom. All right. Well, we didn't keep you that long,
Thank you
Mr.
so
Mayor.